Are you confused about how you should be spending your time when you're working on your Etsy shop? What do you do next? Are you on the right track or are you spinning your wheels? In today's video, I'm going to give you 7 things that I would do this week if I was trying to drive sales in my Etsy shop. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Dylan Jarris and I'm an Etsy seller of about 7 years. I've sold over $1.5 million in revenue on the platform and it's over $1 million in profit. And I still have my Etsy shop today. I also sell on Amazon and Shopify. My entire background before Etsy was corporate e-commerce, and I work for big companies like Zappos and Zulily, and my expertise is really buying, product development, planning, forecasting, pricing strategy, and really marketing. And now I teach Etsy sellers just like you, over 1,200 different shops right now, how to scale their businesses to multi-6 figures. And before we get started, I'd like to invite you to comment below with your Etsy shop name. And what I'm going to do is in a future video, I'm going to pull 3 to 5 shops from the comments of this video, and I'm going to use your shop as an example and to illustrate what I would fix to drive sales. If you don't have a shop, then maybe just leave a comment telling me what you're thinking of selling, and that way I can frame up the video to cater to you. All right, 7 steps to skyrocket your sales. Number 1 is if your designs are not hitting, we have to be honest with ourselves about it. This is the thing, we have 2 options. If your designs aren't working, then option 1 is that we need to do a volume of reps. We need to get years of practice in the span of like weeks or months. Because remember, some people spend years learning how to be graphic designers. And if that was not your wheelhouse, then you've got to be willing to put in the practice and put in the reps really in order to improve that skill. Now, if you're not willing to do that, then you've got to be willing to outsource that piece. I see sellers go way too long trying to do their own designs, and they'll put up like maybe, 5 to 10 new listings per month, maybe even like 3 a week. And they're just not doing enough to get better fast enough, but they are not outsourcing it either. Or I've also seen it where they're outsourcing it to someone who is just as inexperienced as they are. If you're not willing to do the practice and put in the reps, you've got to be willing to outsource it to someone who knows what they're doing. I have a good recommendation for a VA agency if you are looking for help in that area. But whatever you do not take the first 20 designs that you've ever made and put them each on 5 different products, put them on Etsy, and then wait, and then say that Etsy's not working for you because you did everything right and your things aren't selling. It's likely because your things aren't good enough to sell yet. So honestly, be willing to throw out your first designs. You're gonna be getting better, so either put in the practice or outsource that piece if your designs just aren't hitting. The second thing you wanna do to start skyrocketing your sales is to start comparing yourself to other people. I know this sounds awful. I'm serious. You have to compare yourself to other shops. That's exactly what your customers are doing. You are side by side your competition, and they are picking which one they want. Ask yourself, are you objectively better than the competition? And not just any competition, but the market leaders. And what we're looking for is the value proposition. That's what we're comparing. We're not just comparing, the picture. We're comparing that combination of your listing photo and the price. So the listing photo can have multiple things in it, right? There's different ways to add value to the listing photo. It's not just the design, far from it. So really combine that listing photo and the price to look at your value proposition compared to theirs. You have to win in either that photo or the price. But if you have no track record in your shop, then you have to win in both of those areas. And if you're only gonna win in one of those areas, the listing photo or the price, then you better win significantly by a mile. So that's my recommendation. Start comparing yourself to other shops. If you're not doing that, I guarantee it's a huge reason you're probably not seeing traction right now. The third thing you wanna do to skyrocket your sales is to optimize your listings before you start driving traffic. I see a ton of people paying for ads, trying to drive traffic with social media with unoptimized listings. So they're putting all this effort and sometimes money into driving traffic to listings that won't convert anyone. And sometimes it's actually that they can't convert anyone. One of my favorite things to do with my students is to really unpack their listings. So I will go into your listings, make you a video, and tell you exactly what to fix. And oftentimes I find that it is near impossible for a customer to purchase without reaching out to you and sending you a message. In that situation, I call it friction in the purchasing process. Myself and my team of coaches, that's what we do. We will find the friction in the purchasing process. It's usually in there, and we will identify it for you and help you eliminate that to drive up your conversion rate. And at that point, then it's worth driving traffic. But before you're optimized, I would not spend time or money driving traffic to unoptimized listings. And sometimes it's interesting because even if a customer wanted to buy it, they wouldn't be able to unless they reached out and clarified some things. All right, the fourth thing you want to do to skyrocket your sales is to innovate, innovate, innovate. I had a student recently, she had about 25 listings in her shop, and there were 4 main items that those 25 listings were of. We had a coaching call this weekend, and her questions were mostly about her SEO, why she wasn't wasn't getting enough traffic, what she could do differently with her SEO. I actually found the solution was going to be something completely different. This student, she'd made about $1,500 in her shop, but she wasn't seeing big month-over-month increases. And the reason was because she really only had about 4 items, and it was really limiting the number of long-tail keywords that she could be found under. And the thing is, it's very likely that these 4 items in her shop that these 25 listings were of are not going to be what she is known for. Most likely, these 4 items are not going to be anywhere near what her best sellers will be doing 1 year from now. Her best sellers aren't even in her shop yet. And the top priority for her was really to focus on expanding her product mix and bringing in 30 unique products. So not listings, but actual products. And that was my, top priority, ASAP, get this done type of advice for that shop. Because if you're in a situation where you can safely bet that your best seller a year from now is in your shop right now, then you are missing so much opportunity. So keep innovating, innovating, innovating. Do not stop, especially if you are in the early stages. The 5th thing to do is to stay consistent with your social media strategies for 2 months minimum. And this is every single day until you decide that social media doesn't work for you. So without consistency on social media, you will not see any results. It's kind of like trying a new diet for 1 week and then giving up because you weren't impressed with the results. So with Pinterest really takes, 6 months of consistency every day to see real results. I'm not just talking about like marginal results, I'm talking about measurable, significant results. So stay consistent with that every day for 6 months. Now, Facebook, I would say 1 month minimum every day to see really significant results. And Instagram is really more about the lifetime value of the customer. So the time horizon that we look at is a little bit different there. With Instagram, I really encourage you to be thinking long-term and focusing on nurturing your current customer base to create that cult-like following. So I know this is about what to do this week. So stay consistent with Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest every single day, and do not let yourself think it's not working for me because I didn't see results this week. The 6th thing you want to do to start skyrocketing your sales this week is to update your SEO. I'm not talking just about update your SEO, like blah, blah, blah. I want to touch on something else here. And it's that a lot of people have seen this video that I put out on SEO, and it's referencing titles. There were some assumptions made about that video that you just do what I did in the video and then that's your SEO, it's done. But that's so far from the truth. So titles are about 10% of your SEO. There is so much more to this, and consistency is key, which also is oftentimes missed. Consistency is essential. A lot of people are throwing around different keywords for different parts of your SEO, and it's inconsistent. Now, I meet a lot of Etsy sellers who say they saw great results with that SEO video I put on YouTube, which is amazing actually, because then I noticed kind of after diving into their listings that the SEO is a little bit, I would say, half-baked. The reason I say half-baked is because the structure of it really matters. Sometimes people see what I did in that video and they think they've got it down, but then I look at the listings and it's like just all these short tail keywords where it's like keyword stuffing, right? So we don't want to pack in all these like short tail keywords and just hope for the best. The structure of your SEO really matters. And so we're focusing on the only long tail keywords along with short tail keywords only to use up the total number of characters allotted. So that's the only reason we would add in short tail keywords, is just to utilize the number of characters that you're allowed. So really updating your SEO so that it is so thorough, so consistent across every area that you need it. And if you realize, oh, my SEO might be half-baked, do the full 100%, because that's really when you're going to see the difference. Before we get to the last thing, I would just ask you to please subscribe. And if you like videos like this, please give it a thumbs up. Also, if you'd like to see more about SEO, not just titles, also give it a thumbs up and subscribe, because basically when I see a video do well that gets a lot of interest, then I will make more videos like that because it tells me that's what you're looking for. All right, the last thing to do this week to skyrocket your sales is to not believe that you have traction. If you are under the impression right now that you have traction in your Etsy shop, backpedal and tell yourself that you don't. I know this is weird and I don't really think I've heard anyone else say this on YouTube, but traction is an illusion. Continue those strategies that got you to this perceived level of traction for another 500 sales. And I'm serious, because usually the first time that you get traction on Etsy, or that you think you got traction, it's actually just an illusion. I see this all the time. So once you see the first sign of success with Etsy, do not change course. People think, okay, this is the strategy to get this result. Once I get this result, I'm going to move on to the next strategy. But you really have to maintain that result for a long period of time before switching up your strategies. So when you get success with XYZ strategies, it means keep going with XYZ strategies. Go even harder and for longer than you think you should. You've really got to cement in your traction, and most people don't do that. So then they go up and down, and their growth can be very volatile. If you think you have traction right now, continue the same strategies that got you to this point for another 500 sales. I hope you enjoyed the video. video, please subscribe, give it a thumbs up if you liked it so I'll keep making more like this one. And don't forget to comment below with your Etsy shop name so we might be able to feature you in our next video. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one.